Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am continuing this process of this is our summer to prosper. I am continuing these ideas of prosperity and manifestation, and even in the native traditions, the South, which is represented by the summer, is the time of family and abundance and harvest and lots and lots and lots. It's prosperity, it's joy, all of that. And so that's where my mind is, for the most part, during this time of year. And I wanted to just play with some ideas this morning with you. Clarity and demonstration. We are always demonstrating. Our life is filled with demonstrations. We are demonstrating our lives every moment. And it is what we focus upon, what we dwell upon, what we think about, the actions that we take that determine what we will demonstrate. And so it behooves us to be clear about what we are thinking about, speaking about, setting an intention, and taking action upon so that we get what we want to demonstrate. Because we can be very clear about things not going well, and we will demonstrate that. Or we can be very clear about things going fabulously, and we will demonstrate that. Am I popping? No, okay. And I had such a gift this morning. I was thinking about these ideas, and I had such a wonderful gift this morning when those of you who were here last week kind of followed John's journey of his healing process. And part of that is, for the first time in his life, a heavy usage of medications. That spine surgery will do that for you. And so there's timing of things. There's these things every 4 hours, and these things every 6 hours, and these things every 8 hours. And because it's on a 24-hour cycle, it goes through the night. And so I have, as the loving wife, been very, very accommodating to setting my phone alarm so that I can help him take the pills when he needs to take them in the middle of the night. And that's been going on for a couple of weeks. And this morning when I was up at 11 and then 2 and then 4, something like that, then I thought, okay, now I've got a little space to sleep in. I can sleep late. I can do this. I can sleep late. It's Sunday morning, but I could sleep till 7 or 8 o'clock. If I really put my mind to it, I can do that. And then the alarm on John's phone went off because it's Sunday morning at 5 o'clock. It's time to get up. And just for the briefest of moments, I found myself falling into this idea that I would call resentment. And it's not something that I usually play in, so I had some flags go around. But the old stinking thinking was, I haven't slept in weeks. I'm so tired. How come I didn't even set that alarm? And how come I have to get up and go turn the lights on and find it and log in, to stop ringing? And I had enough sense to say, Barbara, you are absolutely doing this because you want to. You have decided to do this. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. These are talks I have with myself. Now I'm having them with you. If you don't want to do this, then don't do it. But for God's sakes, don't do something and then resent the doing of it. That's crazy. Because if I feel like there's something outside of me that is making me do what I don't want to do, I will create that in my life. And those of you who know me know that I create quickly, a lot, and often. So I don't want to create circumstances that say, Barbara, you have to do this and you don't want to do that. That's not my world. That's one of the first things I learned in this teaching was I get to do what I want to do. And the flip side of that is if I'm going to do it, then I'm going to have enough self-control and discipline to want to do it. There's nothing worse than doing something that you don't want to do. If we allow ourselves to feel victimized and get clear, oh, something's victimizing us, we will demonstrate that victimization. And you know, you've all done it. We can do it with different people and different circumstances, and yet the experience inside of us is the same over and over and over again. So I've been playing with this idea of clarity, except before this morning I was all about we need to be clear, we need to state our affirmations and do our treatments and open up to the abundance and the joy of life, because life is just throwing stuff at us. Did you see on the news that I-85 had $100 bills floating on it? Did you see that? That was a real thing this week. A Brinks truck opened up, and they had video on the news, and they were all $100 bills. We're not talking ones and fives here. They were $100 bills. I think it was $185,000 worth of $100 bills floating and flying all over I-85. People were screeching off the road, slamming on their brakes, getting out and grabbing it. It was wonderful. It was just what we talked about Monday night. And I looked at that and said, we did that. We did that by opening up to that possibility and then seeing it manifest in form. So I've been working on my talk about rah, rah, rah. We had practitioner candidates come in, and I paneled a couple of them. And the first one that came in said, I watch you all the time on YouTube. I'm there in your prosperity class. My partner and I are yelling and jumping up and down and doing our treatment for increased income. And I'm going, wow, people really do watch us. A lot of people watch us. We got our web stats Wednesday. We got our web stats for last month. 115,000 pages opened on our website. 115,000. The month before it was 114,000, but the month before that it was 30,000 less. So we made that jump of 30,000 and held on to it. People all around the world truly are learning science of mind through our center. We are a vehicle for good. Just can't help it. That's the way it is. So I'm working on this talk, and then I thought, but what is it that we do to sabotage ourselves? How do we play games that say, I don't deserve, I'm not good enough, I'm not as good as? How do we make up stories that say somehow I am not a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth? I'm a victim. I'm a victim. And I tell you, there are no victims. There are only volunteers. And if you have volunteered to be in a situation that you no longer like, the only way you will get out of that situation is to change it. You've got to change it. You've got to change something inside of yourself, and then you've got to take some kind of action on the outside to shift the circumstances, or you just go round and round and round and round in the same situation over and over and over again. We are the ones who determine what our life is going to be. How much money we have, the condition of our bodies, the condition of our relationships, and what doors open to us and what doors close. It's all about what we are doing. And so in looking at this idea of resentment, I don't want to do this. I have to do this. I very much work on changing I have to I get to. I get to go home and check on the dog. I get to go to the store. I get to go to Sam's for the 12th time this week. I get to do this. I get to do that. Because truly, it is my choice that I am doing this. And as I am embracing my power and knowing that it's my choice, then I am setting spiritual law in motion to create the things that are my choice. My clarity equals my demonstration. And I want to be able to expand in consciousness and demonstrate more and more and more good in my life. And to do that, I need to be clearer and clearer and clearer. And sometimes that means I have to take myself on and say, don't be ridiculous. Nobody's making you do anything. You are doing this because this is what you want to do. If you didn't want to do it, you would not be doing it. You would be doing something else. People come to me and say, oh, I think it's time to leave this relationship. And I go, I don't. If it were time for you to leave this relationship, you would already be gone. So you're not ready to go, so stop playing the game that you're not in 100%. When we're in 100%, we bring all of our tools into the game. we are able to be the being that we have come here to be and to use our resources inside of us, our power, to really make effective change. So if you're not out of the relationship or the job or the car or whatever, stay in it and do it well. Bring all of you into it so that if it does come time to go, you're gone, but you're gone clean and clear. If you're working on something, it's best to do it with a loving heart. It's best to do it with joy in your heart instead of, oh, I have to do this. I don't want to do this, but I'm obligated to do this. I'm so grateful this center does not recognize obligation. It's a bunch of doo-doo. It's a bunch of duty. We don't do that. Khalil Gibran said, work is love made visible. And if you cannot work with love in your heart, then it is better that you leave your work and go and sit outside the gates to the temple and beg alms from those who do. Because to bake a bread of indifference is to bake a bitter bread. So if you can't do what you're doing with love in your heart, then it's better that you just leave it and go find the love somewhere. Abraham says it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So do what you do with love and joy. Barbara Waterhouse says if you're in the kitchen doing dishes and you resent it, get out because you are poisoning everything. It is our job to bring the love into our experience. I learned a lot from my Native American teacher, Will Rockingbear. There's a thing in Native tradition called keeping your seat. And when you can keep your seat, you are present, you are clear, you're not bringing any old unresolved stuff with you, and you are able to participate from the highest level. I remember Rockingbear would look at me, he minced no words. And he would look at me and say, why don't you go bury all those dead bodies out in your front yard? I don't have dead bodies out, maybe a couple of dog bones, but I don't have dead bodies out in my yard. And he says, all of the relationships that you have not healed are like dead bodies piled up in your yard. Why don't you go take care of that? Why don't you go take care of your past? Why don't you go clean that up and heal that? And then it's okay for you to come into my circle and sit in ceremony with me. But I don't want you dragging in all of that unresolved stuff, all of that victimization, all of that struggle and suffering into my ceremony because you are not clear. Now, mind you, I was a religious science minister for about 20 years by now and thought I was really clear. Boy, that's one thing about having a teacher. You don't know what you don't know without one. So I was very grateful to have the opportunity to understand clarity at a greater level than I had before, to be able to be present and clear without dragging a bunch of garbage with me into my now moment. Nobody ever hurt you. Nobody ever took anything away from you. Nobody ever healed you. Nobody ever gave anything to you. It all came from the inside. It all comes from us. And when we go through life not clear about who we are, we go through life and we see that the story that we have made seems so real that we can point to it and say, see, there really are people out to get me. Life really is against me. God really doesn't like me. Things are just going to fall apart. What were those Murphy laws? They were horrible. If we live that way, we will create that, and then the new demonstration will be based on our clarity of lack and limitation and being less than, and we can create that great. That's when we need to take an inventory inside of ourselves and see what we're doing, and to look around and go, come on, Barbara. Nobody's making you do anything. Everything that you do in your life, you do because you want to. You can hold your seat better than this. You think that you're out of energy? That never happens. We live in a universe filled with energy. You think you're out of resources? That's ridiculous. You just haven't opened your eyes enough for it. You can do this better. And I was reminded this morning of my time with Will Rockingbear and of our vision quest. That's where you pray for months on end, you do so much ceremony, and then you go up on a mountaintop with no food and no water. And you sit there for 4 days and 4 nights. Nobody comes to check on you. You don't have anything to protect yourself. You know, this is whatever you're creating is an outpicturing of your process. And you go up on that mountaintop and they say you cry for a vision. Well, I just cried. And then you come down on the 4th day at first light. And that tradition of Vision Quest is continuing on in Western North Carolina. And it was this morning at first light that the questers came down off the mountain, bringing their gifts of spirit to the people. You go up on a mountain, you're not distracted by food or even drink. I think the dehydration assists in the visions. But then you are wide open because there is nothing to do. You're surrounded by a little string of prayer ties, understanding that you are safe in the prayer ties, but if you leave your circle of prayers, you don't know what might be out there. Different universes. I mean, I have seen some pretty weird and wild stuff in Native American ceremony. So you're staying in your prayer ties, you're praying in whatever way is comfortable for you and doing nothing else. And then whatever the gifts of awareness are that you get, you bring them down and give them to the people. We become a channel for good, a channel for spirit to move through us. The native people call it being as the hollow reed, and spirit blows through us in that sweet music. So we have to divest ourselves of all of our stories, of everything that we think we are, everything that we thought we were or that we can be. Your ego is not going to Vision Quest well. If it gets to be competitive, if it gets to be, oh, now I can put shaman on my business card, you know, all of that usually spells doom. What you do is you just open up to something new and greater. And it's in the letting go that allows us to be clear about who we are. You want to take something away from me? I don't care. I can go 4 days without water. You know what that's like? There's nothing that anyone can do to me that I can't triumph over, because I've walked on fire, because I've Vision Quest, because I've challenged myself to go beyond who I thought I was, to recognize that ethereal body presence of spirit that is the truth of me, that goes beyond any physical form, any diagnosis, any circumstance, is the real me. And when I am clear about that, I can reach my hand out and grab money from thin air. When I am clear about that, I can know the truth for someone and have their diagnosis change. When I am clear about that, I can meet someone for the first time, like I did in one of the panels yesterday, and give them their future, which caused them great angst. But I could see it because I wasn't stuck on the physicalness of the experience, and something moved through me. When I allow myself to be clear, then I can demonstrate anything. It is our summer to prosper. Prospering is mandatory because we will not hide behind playing small. We will not say we can't be who we have come here to be because we don't have the $20 to pay the admission fee. We're not going to do that. And we're not going to just say, well, whatever, God, whatever you think might be good for me, just bring it on my way. No, I'm going to be clear to know that everything is an outpicturing of my state of consciousness, and my state of consciousness is clear that everything works together for my good. Everything unfolds for the highest and best of all concerned, that I can let go of any doubts or concerns or fears and allow that presence of the divine to move through me. That is the utmost clarity. To be able to know that you are God in form and that anything is possible is what we are doing here, and so it is. Hi, I'm Barbara Waterhouse.
And I'm John Waterhouse. Thank you for watching this message today.
Through our website, cslasheville.org, we have over 1,000 messages, classes, and new thought books, all to download at no charge to anyone.
Producing this incredibly valuable collection of ideas is really making a difference in the world. It's changing lives everywhere.
please go to our website, cslasheville.org, and click the Donate button. You can support this life-changing ministry, and when you do, we'll send you a note of thanks and also put you on our daily prayers.
By doing this, you're helping to raise the consciousness of people across the entire globe. We're changing lives together, those lives that are being more prosperous, more healthy, and more joyous. Thank you for being a part of this important work and supporting what we do here at CSL Asheville.
Thank you.